Hello, my name is Lachlan, and welcome to Bricks and Sticks. Today I'll be taking a look at the LEGO Star Wars set 75372, the Clone Trooper and Battle Droid Battle Pack. Retailing at around $50 or 30 American dollars, this set comes with 215 pieces. Now I'm going to start this video off by stating that I'm not normally one to care about price per piece, but for $50, even I would have to say that's a pretty steep ask. But I'll do some calculations later on in this video to see if this set is actually worth that $50 or not. Looking at the minifigures on the front of the box, we can see that this set comes with 1 Shock Trooper, 3 regular Clone Troopers, 2 B1 Battle Droids, and 3 B2 Super Battle Droids. I'll talk more about the minifigures in a minute. Moving on to the left side of the box, we get a nice close-up of the main build included in this set, and moving swiftly to the top, we can see a few translations of the set name, as well as this set's 1:1 scaled minifigure, the Shock Trooper. Finally, before we open this box, let's have a quick look at what's on the back of it. On the back here, we get a fun image of the clones fighting the Separatist droids, as well as some of the more notable play features included within this set. Cracking open the box now, we can see that this set comes with 3 numbered bags, and not just 1, but 2 instruction manuals, with bags 1 and 2 being built using the first of the manuals, and bag 3 with the second, making this a perfect 2-person build. Besides from that, this set does not come with a sticker sheet, or any loose parts. Starting us off in the minifigure section now, we've got the Clone Shock Trooper. This minifigure only comes in one other set, the Coruscant Guard gunship, and honestly, I really like the minifigure. It would have been nice if the arms had had printing so that they could have had the shoulder pads and arm stripes, but I think the fact that LEGO got the right amount of forehead markings makes up for it. It also would have been quite nice if we could have seen dual molded legs on this figure. It is kind of weird having the red start at the knees, then disappear, only to reappear back at the feet. With that being said though, I am really glad that LEGO included the toe printing for this figure. Looking at the 3 regular clones now, these 3 are identical to one another, excluding of course their accessories. Now, I thought that these guys had appeared in tons of sets prior to this, but after doing a little bit of research, it turns out that technically they are exclusive to this set, for now. And turns out there are quite a lot of things that make these clones unique from the last time we saw them. The most notable of these is the change from black hip pieces to white ones, and of course, the notoriously controversial helmet holes, which personally doesn't really bother me too much. I definitely preferred the helmets when they didn't have the holes in the sides of them, but it's not the end of the world. One last thing before I move on to the Separatist side of things. As expected, all the clones' faces are identical to one another. Now on to the B1s. At this point, I think we all know what we're getting into when we come across a set with one of these guys in it. Since its introduction in 1999, the figure has hardly had any changes. Regardless of that though, it is always nice when a set comes with one of them, and this just happens to come with 2 of them. A figure that some people might not be as familiar with though is the B2 Super Battle Droid. This figure was last seen in the Hailfire Droid set, all the way back in December of 2016. Since then, there has been some slight but very important upgrades. For starters, the reason as to why this figure had seemingly disappeared over the last 8 years is simply that with too much play, the hinges on these guys would quite often break. According to LEGO, they fixed this problem now, as well as making the details quite a lot sharper than their previous iteration. Let's hope that LEGO has actually fixed the issues. Now that we're done with the figures, let's move on to the build itself. Like we did for the minifigures, let's start things off on the Republic side. For the first and smallest build of this set, we've got this cute little crate, inside of which I like to keep a few thermal detonators. But really, you can fit anything in here that's about the size of a stud. It's good for what it is, but definitely far from this set's standout build. The next in size for the Republic is this little barricade. Though small, it provides a hefty amount of play features, including a stud shooter, removable shield pieces, and gun racks. Unfortunately, the quality of these play features don't transfer over to the looks in my opinion. With that being said though, it isn't my least favorite part of the set. That would have to go to the largest build for the Republic. Now, I feel like this is as good a time as any to mention that this set is heavily inspired by the 2007 sets 7655 Clone Troopers Battle Pack and 7654 Droids Battle Pack. I'm mentioning this now because the largest build for the Republic is this 2-man speeder. Can you see any similarities? Obviously, almost all this set is inspired by those 2007 sets, but this build is arguably the most inspired part. Similar to the barricade, the speeder has several stud shooters and a gun rack. Unlike the barricade though, the speeder's gun racks are arguably more useful in play as they're able to act as turrets. From a visual perspective, it's not the most appealing speeder we've ever seen, but from a play point, it's pretty fantastic. The looks of the speeder is definitely not for everyone, but they certainly aren't the biggest issue I have with this build. By having 4 studs where the minifigures are meant to sit, it proves quite annoying and quite difficult to take minifigures off, quite often resulting in any head accessories coming off in the process, as well as sometimes taking off the handle, as I found out while taking the footage for this video. Now, let's move on to the Separatist side of things. The first of the 2 Separatist builds is a good old STAP, and here's a fun bit of trivia. STAP stands for Single Troop Aerial Platform, but I'm sure you already knew that. Out of all the STAP builds we've gotten over the years, this is hands down one of the best that we've ever gotten. The only thing that could have made it better, and I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but adding a sticker to the front would have gone a long way for detailing. Ultimately, there's not really much else I can say about this build. We've gotten plenty of other STAPs in the past, all of which this is very similar to. And finally, the build that you've all been waiting for. The main build of the set, the Tri-Droid! This design of the Tri-Droid is a massive improvement over the last time we saw it, with legs that have a much higher level of articulation and a much less chunky design. In terms of play features, this is the most liking build of the set, excluding that crate we looked at earlier. The play features within this build pretty much just consist of flick-fire missiles and, of course, the legs. Even though it might not be the best when it comes to play features, the look of this thing is sublime, and definitely makes up for the lack of play features. Before I finish looking at this build, I feel like I have to show this fun little detail the designers threw in. They gave the Tri-Droid a brain. How cool is that? Now before I give my final thoughts on this set, as promised, let's see if we can find where that steep $59 price tag comes from. Basing the prices off a regular CMF at approximately $5, I think it's a pretty safe assumption to say that the Clone Troopers all probably cost around $4 each, with the 2 B1 battle droids, because of how common they are, I would say should probably be around $2 each. And since this is technically a new mold for the B2 Super Battle Droids, I'm going to say that they too would probably be priced around $4 each. From the figures alone, that brings us to an estimated $32, and by importing the parts included in this set to the program stud.io, it brings this set to approximately $60.50. So I might have overshot it with the pricing of the minifigures, but regardless, it shows that for what you're actually buying, it's kinda worth that $50 price tag. Additionally, LEGO is pricing a lot of their other battle packs at around $30 now, and considering that this is practically a 2-in-1 set, it does start to make that $50 seem a lot more reasonable. In my opinion, this set perfectly accommodates for every type of LEGO enjoyer, from young children who get LEGO just to play with it, all the way up to avid collectors. If you're looking to buy this set, I would highly recommend picking it up from an alternate seller for cheaper, and maybe even waiting until it's on sale. Otherwise, if you're super eager to purchase this set and don't mind paying that full $50, there's a link down in the description of this video to LEGO's website where you can pick this set up for yourself. I hope you found this video both enjoyable and informative, and if you've made it all the way to the end of the video, maybe consider liking and subscribing, and if you want, while you're down there, why not leave a comment saying what set you would like me to review in the future. Stay safe, and talk soon.